Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. China renews their appetite for gold. Let's explore. Yes, the shiny yellow metal, that gold. It is something that Chinese and many in the East have certainly longed after. Not only is China one of the biggest producers of the metal, they're also one of the largest consumers of the metal. Before we get into that, because this is sort of news related, with it's happening with everything with China and with gold and their appetite being renewed, we also see prices are going up. And though I don't think the price climb that we're seeing the last couple of days really has anything to do with this story that I'm about to talk about, but I do think it could be a driver of further increased prices for gold. As we can see now, it is nearing $1,800 an ounce and has had a couple of days of pretty steady growth as of the recording of this video, which is on April the 16th, 2021. So quite an interesting climb in the metals here as we close out the end of the week. China is renewing their appetite for gold. In this article here from China Macro Economy, this is scmp.com, and their appetite for gold, jewelry, bars, and coins has recovered as the economy rebounded in recent months. There was about 150 tons of gold worth $8.5 billion at current prices are likely to be shipped by next month, according to multiple sources. So they have been given domestic and international banks permission to import large amounts of gold into the country, according to 5 sources familiar with the matter, potentially helping to support gold prices after a month-long decline. So this could further exacerbate sort of the long kind of decline we've seen at the beginning part of the year that has been predicted. But many of the bullish accounts for gold may come to pass with news of this, like this occurring. China is the world's biggest gold consumer, gobbling up hundreds of tons worth tens of billions of US dollars each year, but its imports plunged as the coronavirus spread and local demand dried up. With China's economy rebounding strongly since the second half of last year, its appetite for gold jewelry, bars, and coins has also recovered. And since January, domestic prices have been higher than global benchmark rates, making it profitable to import gold bullion. The People's Bank of China, the nation's central bank, controls how much gold enters China through a system of quotas given to commercial banks. It usually allows enough metal in to satisfy local demand, but sometimes restricts the flow. And in recent weeks, it has given permission for large amounts of bullion to enter, the sources said. We had no quotas for a while. Now we are getting them, the most since 2019, said a source at one of the banks moving gold into China. Think about that, because I'm sure that China has not fully recovered from the pandemic. Obviously, I don't think any of us have. So for it to be the most since 2019, since it really started, I think that tells us something. Around 150 tons of gold worth $8.5 billion at current prices are likely to be shipped, 4 sources said. 2 of the sources said the bullion would be shipped in April. 2 others said it would reach China over April and May. The bulk of China's gold imports typically come from Australia, South Africa, and Switzerland, which is pretty interesting to think about. Australia, I guess it makes sense with the Perth Mint and all. South Africa, yeah, there's a lot of mints there, or there is a lot of mining in South Africa. In Switzerland, you've got Valcambi Swiss and Pam Swiss. The size of the shipments signals China's dramatic return to the global bullion market. Since February of last year, the country has on average imported gold worth around $600 million a month, or roughly 10 tons, Chinese custom data show. In 2019, its imports ran at about $3.5 billion a month, or roughly 75 tons. The People's Bank of China did not respond to a request for comment. China's absence made little difference to gold prices early in the pandemic, and Western investors, fearful of economic catastrophe, stockpiled vast amounts of bullion, traditionally seen as a safe asset, which pushed it to a record high of $2,072.50 an ounce. Investor interest waned as vaccines and government stimulus revived economic growth, with prices sagging to around $1,750 an ounce. Of course, now it is up above that, $1,776. Let's take a look one more time. Yeah, $1,776.50 an ounce right before the market closed. Investor interest waned, and we see India's demand for bullion has also rebounded. I've reported on that previously, from a pandemic-inducing slump, with record-breaking imports in March of 160 tons of gold. An Indian government source told Reuters this month. China and India are typically account for some 2/5 of the world's annual demand for gold. Think about that. Those two countries alone. It's amazing how ingrained it is in their culture. And that just goes to show you that that is the case for sure, with them taking 2/5 of the demand. Their recovery is critical in setting the floor for gold and should stop prices from falling further over the coming months, said Suki Cooper, an analyst at Standard Chartered. I agree with that, actually. I very much agree with that. I think the days of this year of the stagnant prices for gold, I believe, are over, and we're going to see. This is why my predictions of $2,000 gold, I'm standing by them for this year, because of stories like this and other factors that very well could push these prices up, maybe even sooner rather than later. We'll find out. It certainly is quite an interesting a time here with the metals, especially gold, but even silver. There's an explosion in silver interest as well. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. Silver is still above $26. It was up a little higher than that earlier in the day, but we're seeing a movement with platinum and palladium as well. Palladium is now near or at record highs. Pretty interesting, $2,800. Maybe it got to $2,900. I'm not sure where its record high was before, but nonetheless, there it is. Fascinating indeed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about this news about China. They renewed their appetite for gold. And what about your appetite for gold? Do you still have it, even as prices continue to climb? I know for me, I'm trying to hold fast and be steady and try to accumulate more golds to further narrow my personal gold to silver ratio, which I still do believe is a little bit off kilter. But nonetheless, it is certainly fascinating to see where these prices are going, how the markets are reacting, how the dollar continues to kind of weaken through these times, even as the stock market is up, and there's other economic indicators that are positive. But inflation is the thing that is looming. It is this giant shadow looming overhead, and that is something that cannot be ignored, and obviously is not being ignored. It's being talked about more than ever these days. But most of us in this community certainly have been talking about inflation for quite some time, and it is something that has been a steady constant in our economic system since the Federal Reserve was enacted in December of 1913. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video and to encourage you. Yes, I'm going to encourage you to hit that little notification bell so that you can be apprised of the latest video that makes its way out into the YouTuberverse. Share this video with all of your family and friends, and geckos and lizards and onion peels. Yes, I want it to be even shared with those inanimate objects out there. And also to comment and subscribe. And don't forget to like it and rate it too. Yeah, can't forget that. Helps a lot.